Hello, welcome to the Peter Repeater episode number 55. We are doing ever so well here in the prospects of doing this live stream, and I just hope that you can all bear with and be happy with everything that's going on. So I'm just going to open the doors to some interesting conversation, and then we will crack on with what we need to do, really. And part of that is just just thinking, what is it that I'm doing, what is it that's possible, and what is it that could be improved. So just as I get this thing cracking on I say, just so we can Yep. Just making sure that everything is working correctly. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find me. I'm just doing a few things to make it all better. I hope it works in all the countries, and that is my hope. Just thinking, yeah, it should work. I'm happy with that. Yeah, right. So we've just thinking about settling down for a bit of a podcast, and we want to get as many people watching as possible. So that means sharing on all the mediums. So get my iPhone for that. Get my iPhone for the sharing, the Peter Repeater for the live chat and everything that's going on with that. So if I just go on to YouTube and let's just share this, make it good. So if I go to the Peter Repeater, and then we're just going to share this on Facebook post, and then we'll share it on X, share on X, and then that'll do me. We just go on to X and then just check that it's all up and running as all things should be. So yeah, we're just having a go at this and focusing on what can be improved, what we can do about it. And we are live to the nation for the foreseeable future. We're just settling down to a podcast. We're very happy with the result, and it's not top quality, but at the same time it's not anything to shake multiple sticks at in the countryside. Nothing to shake a stick at. So the Peter Repeater is a Spotify podcast, and it's a YouTube podcast, and it's the main place where I share my thoughts about my life and everything that I've been doing. So at the moment I'm at home quite happily, and I'm not working, but I'm transitioning from a regular 9 to 5 job to hopefully something more within my abilities, so something more freelance, something more possible that's aligned with my values. So that would be my internet presence, and that is the main thing that I'm really concentrating on, is my internet presence and how best I can just think about such things and think about how it's all going, and fantastic scenes ahead. So basically what we're doing here is we're really focusing on the most important aspects of life, because if you work a 9 to 5 job, there's no telling what you prioritize, what you value. It all, in a sense, gets consumed by what you're doing. And not to say that what people do to earn money isn't worthwhile. It's more of a recognition of whether your values in life are aligned with your progress and your actuality of what you're doing. So aligning your values to the reality of your life is a luxury, but it's one that I want to exhibit, one that I want to pursue, and one that I want to explore in a variety of ways. So basically, the last update that you all should know from episode 54 is that I really struggled to come to terms with the fact that I am not sure what I want to do for a job. So circumstances have transitioned, and I am sure of what I want to do. I want to do this. And some people might say, wait a second, Peter, how can you do this and sustain yourself? Well, I have got one magical word for you that's plural, or 3 words that's not plural. Mum, dad, parents. They're the best. So I am in my old sister's room, and we're just getting the best out of what we're doing. And that is talking. We're doing news, we're doing gaming. I'll do a news story after this, breaking news. I don't know if I'll do it today, but we're doing the podcast. We're just getting the ball rolling, trying to get things to, accumulate over time and just improve. And that's really what I'm trying to do here. So, talking about, swings and roundabouts, because in the last podcast I was thinking, well, I have to get up every morning at 6:30. It's quite a lot of effort. It doesn't work well with my sleeping. But the advantages are you have a purpose, and you can say, I am IT technician, and then that makes you feel good about yourself. And that's really what I really value, is the purpose. But is the purpose that you're pursuing, is it aligned with the reality of your values in your life? Not, it's like this whole other pathway to life is a full-time job, and you find your meaning and purpose in what you're doing, and your values are sort of bent towards the unchanging pathway of your job. So there is a sense of overlap between values that you have naturally and have throughout your life, and values that your job keeps on your mind and gives you purpose. And those things overlap, and the more they overlap, the more you can be settled that what you're doing is your purpose. And I need to refine and redevelop my purpose. So part of that is just, doing what I really like to do. And I like creating content. And some people might say, but you're not doing a job, you're not an IT technician. And I would like to rebuttal with that. I am a content creator. That is the definition of creating content and publishing it on YouTube. There is no sidestepping about, do you have many followers? Is anybody watching you? Like, that is a sidestep to the main reality of what I want to pursue. And what I want to pursue using my hands, because I feel like I need to fill up the landscape space, what I want to pursue is really a reality of sitting and going for walks and just doing things I find relaxing, going to, say, Bible studies, going to social events, and having the energy to do what I like to do. Because there was no drone videos when I was working for 6 months. There was no podcast. There was, maybe I did 1 or 2 episodes. There was no gaming, not even gaming for fun. I would just go to work, watch 2 or 3 hours of TV, go to bed early, and get up for the next day. And that was 5 days. And if I was lucky, I could get to watch Liverpool and Formula One, Zoom, Doppler effect and all that, Formula One, the Doppler effect, this is a sidestep, but I'll weave it back in, like Donald Trump, another weave. So yeah, so Donald Trump is a weaver, and the sidestep is the Doppler effect. Is when a car passes you, how the sound works. If the car is moving towards you and the sound is moving towards you, those sound waves get compressed. So it's a high pitch. And then, because it's just this, there's a speed of sound minus the speed of the car, and then you reduce the wavelength. All of a sudden, you've got high frequency, it's a high pitched sound. And then when the car moving away from you, you have the speed of sound plus the speed of the vehicle moving away from you, longer wavelength, lower pitch because it's lower frequency. So it goes high pitch, meow. So that's the Doppler effect, and that explains the redshift of the early radio waves, and now the early radiation. The early radiation from the early universe was on a spectrum of visible light and higher frequencies like gamma rays, and because they're moving away, they get shifted towards the red end, towards infrared. So that's the microwave. So the background microwave radiation is the early signal from the early universe. That's very interesting, and that's the same Doppler effect. And the Doppler effect of a car is used to explain the Doppler effect of the redshift of the early universe. And you can use the redshift and other metrics to go back in time and see how fast the galaxies are moving away from each other, and it's the inflation of the universe using the Doppler effect and the redshift, and then that translate to figuring out when everything was at one point by going back in time. And there's a number called it's like a constant of acceleration named after Hubble, and that's to do with how fast the universe is expanding, and it's a constant rate of acceleration, which isn't acceleration, is a rate of acceleration. So it's the gradient or the derivative of acceleration. It's not that the rate of the acceleration is constant, it's the rate of acceleration is constant. So it's meters per second squared, and that's a number, and that's the rate at which the acceleration of the inflation is moving away from us. Very exciting stuff. So you might be thinking, wait a second, Peter, you've just gone very in the weeds of a weave there, and we will bring that back to what I was talking earlier about how the Doppler effect. I've lost it. I can't weave like Donald Trump. I've lost the answer. But I was just talking about how, oh yeah, the going back to meet it all up is the meow, which is the Doppler effect, which links to the universe with the inflation. That unwinding, bringing the the string of ball back together and meshing it all up together into one, that brings us back to the point that if I'm lucky and I have enough time at the weekend when I'm working, I watch Formula One and the football. And I love my Formula One and I love the football, and it's really great. And I love doing that. But that's the only thing I can have capacity for, is the Formula One, the football at the weekend, go to work. I know it's 8 hours of the day, but I sleep 12 hours, 11 hours, but I end up sleeping 9 hours and I'm underslept and I'm falling asleep, and I just try my best to muddle through the pathways of life. And I sort of petered out, if you will. Peter Newing, the Peter of Peter. But yeah, that's just an example that I want the capacity to be a content creator, to like myself, to love myself, to go to Bible study. If there is one, there is a Bible, but is there a Bible study? It's not really that important. If there's a Bible study, but if there's a Bible, that's important because it gives us stuff to do. So it's just being able to do things that I like. Go to church. I haven't been to church yet, but I might do. And sleeping enough, and just being quite cognizant that I'm able to facilitate the passions of my life. And you might think I am the most convoluted speaker that you may find, and I assure you, I usually don't talk, but when there's a camera pointed at you and you've got the microphone on and you're wearing the pleb t-shirt, rocket ship, pleb, guy, pleb, $ X, memes about pleb. When you've got all that going for you, you really stand to witness that you're just content in life, and you're just able to keep on talking to fill the void of a podcast. So this podcast is a little bit like a Tim Dillon situation. I would have guests on, but it's not necessary. The podcast is just setting up the microphone and camera, and I wasn't particularly happy with the setup, but you can't do too much about that. There's a setting for everything, but when you can't find it, it's like a duck to water. It's like muddle in the puddle. I don't know what I'm saying, but you get the idea that you just try and facilitate your life and make sure what you're doing is aligned with your values, and they have a coalition and coalesced into a union, like a yin yang symbol with the order and the chaos, and walking the line between the order and the chaos is weaving your sentences into a paragraph, into a story, into a coherent piece of podcast creation. And there should be a topic to the conversation. I spent the first 2 minutes setting up the podcast, but talking through it because there's a technical ability. So rule of thumb, this doesn't happen on Joe Rogan, but just skip the first 2 minutes of every podcast I do and then start watching. And then if you want the juicy part, skip halfway through the podcast and you're on for a winner. And I just wonder whether this podcast is going to end up on with like the clips at the bottom with the I've got an interesting story about this, with the clips at the bottom that describe what the podcast is about. And I wonder if they'll do that for this video. Thumbs up if you do. Because I think you used to have to do it manually, and then they started like doing it automatically, and you realise how great life is. So that's a bit of that, isn't it? So yeah, it's just the podcast is going well. I started it 10 minutes ago. Not quite the Joe Rogan level, but talking about Joe Rogan, which is the interesting bit about the notes to the podcast. On Joe Rogan videos, before he went to Spotify, there used to be this guy who created DJ mixes, and he would do timestamps for every topic in the video, so people wouldn't have to watch the whole video. They could just click on the time and then watch the bit that they're interested in. So that was his job, was to go through the video twice the speed, ruin the satisfaction of the podcast for himself, but go through the video twice the speed. When there's a new topic, write it down, put in the timestamp. And when you've done that throughout the whole video, which takes an hour and a half because it's twice the speed, 3 hours, and then you have to keep on pausing it, so it probably takes a couple of hours. It's just absolute effort involved in doing the timestamps, and then he'd post it on every video. People would be pleased with him. They would say things like, "Not all heroes wear capes." What did I just say? Not all heroes wear capes, like Superman. So yeah, he was just doing all the timestamps and everything. And how this links to me is that one time I noticed he was getting a lot of attention, and I thought, right, he's the timestamp guy. And then I thought, or I might have thought in reverse, but I thought when there was a video with Honey and it was 4 hours 40 minutes long, this podcast,
and the topics were all over the place. I was thinking, right, this is really hard for the timestamp guy. What am I going to do about it? I'm going to say, rest in peace, the timestamp guy, for this video. That's all I put, one sentence, 3,000 likes. Thank you, Joe Rogan. You're welcome. 3,000 likes on a comment. It's the most interactive thing I've ever done. I've never got 3,000 views legitimately. I've never got 3,000, you know, breakfasts in a year. I've never got 3,000 anything, you know, apart from, you know, maybe the amount of times I've used the restroom. You know, 3,000 over a period of time. Like 3,000 of anything doesn't really ever happen. So what I'm saying is 3,000 likes on Joe Rogan. Then he went to Spotify. The video got deleted. That comment's deleted. My claim to fame is no longer. And that's how a comment like that. And before that, I was trying to do other funny comments, like when the guests actually know what they're talking about. When the guests actually know what they're talking about, Jamie's Googling hand can now have a rest because he Googles with one hand, and that got like 500 likes. And I was just working my way up to just completely annihilating the comment section, and just fantastic abilities. But I suppose the thing is, with this podcast, is I have to set up everything myself. I've got this really dodgy setup with my camera thing that seems to work, but it doesn't. And I did some gaming earlier today and stuff like that. The reason that I'm on right now is because I was going to sit down and watch Alex Jones, but then I realised, oh wait, you know, he's not on air because it's Thanksgiving, and he's just put in, you know, repeats of things he's already done. And I was there sitting watching this Alex Jones, who's a, you know, conspiracy. He considers himself as a commentator on information and like a journalist almost. But what he does is he just reads complete rubbish and then speaks utter worse rubbish. And I flip and love it. And I agree with everything he says. But you can't put everything he says in a YouTube video because he gets banned from YouTube and all that. So here I am, sat down in my comfort of my own living room with Toby the teddy monkey. He's an inanimate object that loves me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so it's just a case of sitting with Toby. Sorry, Toby. I've got another monkey called Kobe. But just sitting with it's just a case of watching Alex Jones, but he's not on at the moment because it's Thanksgiving. And just by the fact I know it's Thanksgiving is a detrimental effect to my own sovereignty of being a patriot, United Kingdom. I should be a royalist. I should love the royal family. I should love everything in Britain. I should vote for Labour and like Labour. I didn't vote for Labour. So I just thought, you know, I want to vote for the winning team and something to do with a change because it didn't seem to be working before that. So yeah, that's all right. That's what I'm dealing with, and hopefully you tune in next time. I'm not going yet, but tune in next time for the Peter Repeater. I'm just going to see how long I've been talking, and then I'll give myself a break. I don't know how you can find out, to be honest. No, I don't know how long I've been live. Maybe if I go back in time. 2024. Okay, that's not too bad. 24 will do. 24 will do indeed. 24 will do. Yeah, so it's just a case, I say that a lot now, of just bearing witness and hoping that I can entertain the demographic that I believe that needs to be entertained. And part of that is just focusing on this podcast. And do I do a video of me talking about the news as well. That's 3. I've done, what have I done? I've done the gaming, I've done the podcast. To do a 2-minute video as well is a little bit unnecessary at this point, so I don't think I can fit in a 2-minute video really, because I'm just getting quite tired of talking. But that's okay. I won't have anything to say once I'm off the air. What's it saying now? What's it saying now? Okay, it's fine. Right. That's okay. We'll do things status quo so much. So I'm talking about the bit rate, which is not really a problem, but it'll do. I'll just check that I'm on the air. Check. That's it. Just bearing witness and hoping. Yeah, it's on the air. So I'll just yeah, it's on the air. So. Okay, yeah. Okay, right. So that's just the coffee's cold. Does it taste nice when it's cold? I'll go for a straight up no on that one. Yeah, so that's me for the time being. For the foreseeable future, I'm just getting entertained and thanking everyone involved that this is the Peter Repeater podcast, and maybe I do need to make a 2-minute video, but I don't have the stomach or the ability to talk any more than I'm already talking. So basically there's just I've finished my degree, I've done my graduation, certificates in the post, and I just be content really. It's just thinking about what I like doing and what I can do in life, and part of that is just being content with what I have, and I am content with what I have, more or less, and that's all right. We'll just continue to think good things, continue to speak in the podcast, and continue to love what I'm doing. So basically, I am Peter the Repeater. I'm the Peter Repeater. Not to be confused with Peter the Repeater in some random episode of some program, but I'm the Peter Repeater. And if you Google the Peter Repeater, I turn up on Google quite high up. And also, if you just consider other things, like the fact that my name is Peter Newing, Newing, and if you Google Peter Newing, then you will find me on I've got my own website now called peternewing.com. I created that links to everything. I've got my Facebook channel, I've got my X account, the Pete Repeater, at the Pete Repeater, and that's more or less to do with the fact that there's 2 R's. There's R at the end of Peter and the R at the beginning of Repeater, and it looks weird. You've got 2 R's together. I did try and get the one with the Peter Repeater, but it was taken, so I just thought, I was 2 R's, put them into one. So the Pete Repeater, or the Peter Repeater, if you go back a letter and say the R again, if you know what I mean. And that's just the way of it, really. There's not much I can add to this broadcast. It's really a case of just having a catchphrase, and sometimes it's really a case. I don't know what I am going to say in my podcast situations all the time, but what I do say I'm quite happy with, and I'm just content to be content, and the price of Bitcoin doesn't seem to be too bad, if that's the price I'm looking at. Let's just check the price. 95,000 on my little display. So if I just check it, what will it be? Yeah, that's about the right price. It's on its way up, and my meme coin's doing well. Let's have a look. Oh, they're not doing too bad. Could have been horrific. Okay. Yep. Cool. So that's how things are going in this neck of the woods. I'm trying to do my posture better, but I seem to sit down too much. I need to do more standing and everything. But that's okay. I'll just adjust this just to put me in the middle. Yeah, so I love, I can't say I love my job. I love my life. My job is content creation, so yeah, I love my job. I really value everything. I like to be a part of it, and I just take days, day by day, try and have a good life and all of that. Looking forward to my brother returning. Yep, coming back to live home hopefully, and I can actually play games with him, and he can be in the shot of the game situation. So that's decent, really. I'm happy with that. In other news, there is no other news. Let's just see what the time is. Yeah, I've got to go. Got to keep going for another 10 minutes or so. I was thinking, I'm sat here, I'm really ramped up to do the podcast. I can do it for a consistent amount of time and things like that. But in reality, it's a difficult situation because you run out of things to talk about, and that's just the way of it, really. I think that World War III will happen in a kind of way, but knowing about it probably isn't the best for peace of mind and everything. So I probably need to concentrate on the fact that I can be happy and safe and have a good life and enjoy my time, watch films, watch TV shows, sort of getting consumed into the world of whether there's going to be a nuclear war is not my favourite thing, I would say. I just hope that I can really attune my own productivity time and really better myself in order to do as much content creation that aligns with my values as possible. And if it means me going live gaming, if it means me having a podcast episode, then I can really attest to the fact that that is a good idea. And I can do all these great things in life. And thank you very much for being a part of it all. I love my job. Like Steve Carell on The Big Short. It's a good film. I like that film. So, what am I doing here? I am looking for how long I've been online for and how long this podcast is. Okay, so we do another few minutes and that'll be alright. Yep. Okay, so the Peter Repeater live for you all. Let's see how many views I've got. This is a great podcast. Joe Rogan doesn't just look at his phone and refresh the screen to see how many views he's got on certain videos, but that's what I'm doing. And there's no other way of doing it, really. Okay. And I wonder if I go on live, view all. Okay, it will catch up. So Retro Replay with Peter is a good series, and The Peter Repeater is an even better series because I'm doing it now, and I really think the values of my life and the alignment of content creation can overlap in such a way to give me quite positivity in a world that is not filled with positivity all the time, particularly with this Russian-Ukraine World War situation. And to do a 2-minute video catch up of the news is maybe not the most productive thing to do, but in order to do well on the internet, I probably need to make a quick bash of a 2-minute video. But maybe not today because I'm quite tired, really. All things considered, my eyes are starting to go. So maybe this is the last thing I do today. I did a live gameplay earlier. I've done this this podcast that I'm doing now. My eyes are getting quite tired from looking at the camera, or looking at myself, or whatever seems to be the case. So it's just, I'm quite happy with my life, waking up, doing things I need to do, watching TV, having time to create content, really facilitating the best parts of my life into a somewhat nice story of a day. Have I had a good day today? I think I have. Long may it continue, long may I have good days, and just consider it a blessing that I am able to do this for a living. That's not strictly accurate. I am living and I'm doing this, but to say 4 is not really where I'm at. I'm doing this for my own personal development, and just like to say, Peter, you did graduate with Computing Technologies First Class Honours degree, and I'm very proud of the earlier Peter Repeaters that have mentioned such qualification that I am doing or have done now. So it's all very interesting, and if we put this podcast onto Spotify, we will no doubt do very well. Maybe get 1 or 2 plays over the next few months, and if we just keep this on YouTube, that will go well. Just think about the bigger picture, really. And I am happy to say that I've got a degree. I graduated, I worked hard, got a first class. It's not easy, it was hard, and I can't remember how hard it was, but that's just another thing of life. You move on, you dust yourself off, and you get on to the next thing. And I've got to persevere with my gaming, my news, everything, all of the above. And I wish it was Friday tomorrow, and it is Friday tomorrow, so isn't that such a great thing? It's Friday again. Saturday, Sunday, what? So that's just fact of life, fact of most people's lives. It's Friday tomorrow. Okay, so Joe Rogan goes live. I go live. Joe Rogan has a Spotify deal. I'm on Spotify. Can't really see the discrepancy between me and Joe Rogan there. Maybe the viewership and the notoriety and the opportunities and the wealth and the fame and the influence is just heavily in one way, but you can't really pick and choose between me and Joe Rogan, because I've got a podcast, he's got a podcast. I'm done one today, he's done one today, no doubt, and we're just neck and neck. And I've got more years on him, even though he was more successful before he was my age, and continues to be more successful every single year until he has the world's biggest podcast. But you never know what the future holds, because I'm younger than him, and my podcast will go on after he dies, all being well. And not that I want him to die early, but I want to die less early than late. For him, early, not for me. So what I'm saying, I want to live a long time. I agree with life. What does that mean? It means I'm getting tired of talking. That's what it means. Let's just see if I've crossed the 40-minute threshold and I can stop. that's really the way of it, really, is crossing the 40-minute threshold and stopping. I'll just go on YouTube. The Peter Repeater. What we at now? What we doing? We are okay. I think we're just going to need to do a minute. Oh no, we've done it. We've completely done it. We've crossed the threshold of 40 minutes. So isn't that lovely? Thank you all for watching. This has been Peter. I'd just like to say I'm very thankful for my audience, even though you're not here yet, but you will be, and thank you very much, even though you're not watching this video but future videos. But I thank you preemptively for the future videos, and thank you now, even though it's not worth it. God is watching. He'll make a note of it and talk to you about it in heaven. That's my theological stance of this whole podcast. It doesn't get more complicated than that. Does God exist? Maybe. Yes. Don't know. Right, if you've watched it this far, I love you very much. I want to not say that, flippantly, but I like the fact that you're watching, and there is no better substitute for the word love than love, even if it's a bit heavy and full on. So thank you very much. I'll be with you next time on the Peter Repeater. This has been Peter. Bye for now. Okay, thank you. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.